Hey everyone, it's Wolf. We're bringing you the final VOD from that night, that fateful night. It's going to be Creator Prime down here at the bottom left as our blue Protoss playing against Polt, formerly of the Team Prime, now playing for TSL. So I'm sure these guys have practiced together a little bit in the past, but they're not really up to date on each other's newer strategies. So only time will tell what we'll see from these players on this map. This is Metropolis, the map we saw earlier with the islands, the wide open hole in the middle. So kind of similar to Zelnaga Caverns, that there's two pathways. There's some line of sight blockers here. The watchtowers on both sides of the gaping hole in the middle. But there are alternate paths as well, just like Zelnaga Caverns, where you can go around the other side. There's bases on the edges as well. And I feel like almost this map may be Zelnaga Caverns inspired or something like that. It's like we're going to see Polt go for a command center first, based on the queuing here that we see on the command center. And absolutely will be command center first. Meanwhile, Creator getting his normal gateway timing. Second pylon as well. Creator is like the Lenok of Protoss. He's very, very strong, very young. He has a lot of talent. He's got a lot of refining that he needs to, he's got to be molded a little bit by his team before he really can use that potential that he has. But he's so young. I believe he's 15, and that gives him a lot of time to prepare, get ready for being a top pro gamer when he's 19 or 20. So this guy's going to be around for a while. I have to say that's my very strong opinion on this matter. First time I ever saw him play was in the round of 64 against MVP and the Super Tournament, and he almost won. Yeah, in fact, if he had made a few less mistakes in that best of 3, he would have won against MVP so long ago, and he's gotten so much better than that now. He's really, really good at this matchup in particular. And it's actually kind of a sad thing that we have to see one of these two players out of the GSL after this match. I mean, Polt is someone no one really expected to fall down to Code A, but he had a tough group. And unfortunately for him, he's got a tough player to face here. Obviously, as far as seeding goes, he's going to be playing against Creator, who recently came back up from Code B, but he's been around. He's obviously a top-notch player. So Polt's very unlucky in this. Now, we are going to have some Zealot pressure. He Chrono Boosts out this Zealot to punish the command center first, and he actually will stop this bunker from going up by the looks of things. He needs to get the second SCV, because that SCV will finish the bunker, and he didn't quite get it. Not the best control here. Should he decide to run by, he can. Smart move by Creator. Now he's going to be able to put even more pressure on this command center. And he's got a lot of different options here. Polt is going to have to react. He's now pulling his Marines out of the bunker. He's going to take some hits though. Taking quite a few hits. And if this command center lifts, he may even put a pylon here to delay it. He's got so many different opportunities with that. The SCV of Polt comes to scout the Nexus time. He also wants to scout if there's a fast third going down. And now SCV is being pulled off here, but there is an additional Stalker. One of the Stalker shields very low. The Zealot tanking some hits here. He actually took out both of the Marines, and the last Marine, barely gets in the bunker. And Creator actually taking a few extra hits on his Stalkers, but he's killing so many SCVs in the meantime. Really nice control by Creator, really nice opening, very aggressive. Right now the worker count, 26 to 21 in Creator's favor. He's actually damaged this command center quite significantly as well. Now 2 more barracks being added for Polt, and a reactor will finally finish, which means he will be able to continue some production. He's actually going to move his barracks, so he has no Marines out right now. He's still not mining from that command center. And Creator, once his shields recharge, he can actually start poking away at this bunker again. If he had killed that Marine, Polt may have lost this game. So very, very lucky that Marine jumped into that bunker at the last second. Robotics facility going up. A Zealot being warped in here at home. He may send that to pressure, but I think he's just going to leave it at home. He doesn't know if there's any barracks that, for example, might have been here that drop down here. He might send Marines out, so he's got to be careful. Also wants to stop any potential bunkering of this fast third base he's taken. Actually, looks like he's going to go for the rocks. Smart choice. Zealot is very multi-purpose in this scenario. The bunker is being repaired. A lot of resources lost for Polt, and the Stalker is actually going to take out the SCV on their way through. No! Nice by Polt, saving the SCV. 2 very weak units inside of that bunker. The first Hellions, I guess, yeah, okay, so he's going to surround and kill the Stalker with the Hellions. Could have gone for probes, but now there's enough production here for Creator to have a Stalker to deal with the Hellions in his main, but also at his natural. And Hellions, if they come here, they'll kill the only probe that's there. Kind of surprised Polt not send these early Hellions out, because now, even though he knew about the third base, he still has not put pressure on it. It's up and running. He's going to be able to make probes from there. Third gateway has finished up now for Creator. An Immortal will pop. Five Hellions out in total. Stim is about 2/3 of the way done here. I should say 3/4 as it gets closer and closer. 3 Marauders at a time being produced. And concussive shells and Stim on the way. Like I said Stim several times, but just open the production tab. I wanted to reiterate that. Second Immortal will be out for Creator. Now, the question is, will he go Twilight here? Will he add a Robotic Support Bay? Will he just stick with Gateways and power up to Gateways while he has his third base running? Very parting style. He's got a bunch of different opportunities, different options he can choose from here. We're going to see even a third Immortal Chrono Boosted out for Creator. Wants to get that Immortal count quite high to help deal with the Marauder pressure he may face. His units are out of position for these Hellions. Yeah, they're kind of here, but the Hellions could have run by. It could have been a disaster. But there's only 3 probes here. And he's not even producing out of this base yet, which actually is so smart. It's actually so smart by Creator not to produce out of that, because he knows the Hellions are there. He may lose some. Even though Hellions are not good against Stalkers, with this many, you can do so much extra damage to the Stalkers. Probes now sneaking by here. Still no production of probes on this base. In fact, he's cut probe production entirely here for just a little bit longer. He just wants to hold the 2-base pressure of Polt. Polt now has started a third command center, but it's very late, very behind. Worker count 50 to 41. That's going to climb as soon as he starts probe production again. Now he's got so many units, he doesn't even have to worry about this ramp. He can actually just hold this location here. He even has an observer to spot. And since he's dealing with only Hellions and Marauders, a very Stalker-heavy Immortal composition with some Zealots mixed in will be quite good against this. Even going to leave this Immortal on the high ground. He's going to have 4 Immortals in total. And Polt actually bringing a lot of SCVs to pressure with this. The Immortal doing some serious damage on the high ground. Guardian Shield goes up. The SCV is not really able to tank a whole lot because there's so many units. He's bringing probes with this. I don't think that's necessary, but it's going to help him out. The Hellions falling very quickly, but so did some of those probes. That puts the probe count at 35 to 29. But he cleans up everything, and it looks like Polt is in a lot of trouble because Creator still has a very, very tough army. It's going to barrel down on this front. He only has 1 bunker, and that's all that stands in the way of him and defeat. He does have Stim. He's just not starting combat shields. He's getting that starport ready, and surprisingly, Creator is going to go home here. I'm really surprised by this choice. He had such a lead. Look at the supply lead. Look at the army supplies. He had such a lead, he had such an ability to pressure his opponent, kill the natural, perhaps even just end the game. Was not able to make use of that. So, really a surprising choice by Creator. But, again, he's got 3 Nexi up. His worker count has jumped back up quite significantly. He's now up to 52 to 35. Polt will have a 3rd orbital, though. And with triple mules, you can see the economy here is going to be pretty evened out. He's not dropped one of his mules, but if he had, the economy would be about exactly even for these 2 players right now. Robotic Support Bay goes up right now as well for Creator. Surprising choice rather than getting more gateways up. I would have thought he would add more gateways, put more pressure on with his 3rd base. Advantage that he has. Uh-oh. Blink's not done. He can't chase these Hellions. Nice splitting of the probes, though. He's going to kill probably about 5 of them. The other probes do escape. Nice control by Creator, and good move by Polt. He gets out without losing very many Hellions. Did a lot of damage there. In total, workers killed 18 to 24. Polt slightly in the lead there, but again, worker count 58 to 43. You can see a relatively even economy with the mule support. Remember, for each orbital that you have, if you drop mules constantly, each mule is worth about 6 SCVs for its lifespan. So if you have 3 orbitals, that's about an extra 18 SCVs. So if you look at the total, you add 18 to that, well, that gives you 65. So 64 probes to 65 SCVs approximately with the mule mining. Plus the mules don't bump into SCVs with their saturation. It gives you better, basically an optimal saturation. You're going to have, basically you need about 20 workers up on your opponent if he's got 3 orbitals. You just need that if you want to claim that you have a better economy. And having a better economy isn't even always necessary in this matchup, but if that's what type of lead you want to have, you've got to make sure you're constantly producing probes. Hellions are going to try to sneak by here again. These rocks are up, so you can't go around this side. And with this many units here, even with sentries to force, so it's going to be quite difficult. He wants to check for these bases, and if he ever sees the Protoss army move out, then he will send these Hellions in to wreak havoc on those probes. Right now, the tech looking really good for our Protoss player. His 1-1 is going to finish before Polts. He's going to start 2-2 immediately. Charge and extend the Thermal Lancer on the way. 2 more gates, as well as the tech for the Templar Archives is up. Vikings are being produced to deal with the Colossi right now. 2 Vikings to a Colossus ratio is looking like it's going to be the way that it is for a little while for Polt. As these 2 gateways finish, though, it's going to be scary because he's probably going to start making less and less Colossi and more gateway units, especially with Storm finishing up. There's no Ghost Academy as far as I can see for Polt. One thing I would like to say about Polt's play that makes me really happy, though, is using the ship weapons and double upgrades for his units. It's so important in this matchup. That's really the crucial difference in how this matchup has been going over the past 4 months as to how it was before that. People really started to figure out these upgrades really well. And even 6 months ago, people were starting to figure them out, but now it is so figured out, and Terrans are like, well, they decrease the cost of those Protoss upgrades. The Protoss are getting them out so fast, it's so crucial. I gotta keep up with that. And it's impossible for a Terran to keep up, but they have to try as hard as they can to catch up, because if they don't, and right now he's 80 seconds behind. That's an 80-second timing window where he's going to have less upgrades than his opponent, and if that occurs at that moment when the Protoss attacks, Polt's army is going to be decimated. So it's very important for him to get those upgrades out, and he's been doing it so far. Mobius Reactor upgrade on the way now as his Ghost Academy has finished. We do see a 4th base going down for Creator as Polt starts his basically an identical timing. With the income tab, you can see 73 workers for Polt to 66 of Creator, and about a 600 minerals per minute lead does go to Polt in income. Of course, gas is much more important for our Protoss opponent right now, Creator, who has finished up those additional gateways. Photon Cannon, High Templar over here. He's got a 2nd cannon. I like the cannoning that Protoss are starting to do against Terran now. It really shuts down drop play. It lets you move out freely. One of the problems Protoss were facing before they started to realize that I can just make cannons and leave some High Templar at home was that whenever they moved out their main army, they were just so vulnerable to getting their production hit at home. A medevac drop is very different than a dropship drop in StarCraft 1, where you can kind of deal with that with units that pop out oftentimes, or send just a small group of units back. You have to send such a large group back to deal with drops in StarCraft 2 because of the healing capabilities and, of course, the upgrades. So 3-3 are on the way, 2-2 on the way for Polt. Like I said, there's a window here. If Creator can hit this with 2-2 against 1-1, it's going to be really good for him. It looks like he is going to hit it. Stalker's blinking forward. Zealots charging in now. There are some ghosts in the mix, but they're not ready. He tries to EMP some of these Zealots, but I think that Polt is actually just going to die here. He just does not have enough units, and the game may just end because the units charge in. There's nowhere to kite left for these units. They're stuck against a wall. Zealots going for these rocks. They should just go for the barracks, and indeed they do. The Vikings kind of useless. They're probably going to land these on the high ground to sort of help out, but Polt is out of luck, I feel, with the 4th base now up for Creator, and with forward pylons up to reinforce as well. Polt has this base and this base secured, but he just does not have an army to continue to hold on here. His Ghosts and Vikings do hold the ramp for a little bit longer, but GG, Creator takes game 1. I'll see you in VOD number 2.